Hello, it's Kat, and today on Small Steps, language, labels, and confusion. And I just wanted to give you a little thought that I had about labels and how labels can be restricting in that the label says how you are, but we're human beings, and so we're complex. We're not just a label. And then you have this idea of language, and you want to be able to use labels to clearly define a cohesive conversation, either with yourself or with others, so that people can get an idea. So labels are used to define certain attributes in psychology of what this diagnosis is and what this diagnosis has in common with these people. If they're narcissistic, they have these traits of narcissism, and they have them to a varying degree all the way up into a disorder. And the same can be said about codependency. And so for the longest time, they used codependency, and they really didn't care how codependent felt about it. But for some reason, they've got this little thing about narcissism. And maybe I'll go into that at a different time. But my point is not to get stuck in those labels that are used in order to define some behaviors that somebody is using. Because when I talk about narcissistic traits, I'm giving you information about the traits, the personality traits that narcissists tend to have, so that if you're involved with somebody that is abusive, you can look at those traits and go, I see my partner or my spouse or my family member, whoever, in that relationship. And that gives you information about how you may want to handle that. You see, and I also think about the language of, let's just say, the victim, and how you'll have somebody like, let's use the uh, Epstein um, victims, been fighting for 27 years to be seen and heard, and they have been pushed away as gold diggers. He gave them a different language, or they should just get over it, or it didn't happen because society said or people said it didn't happen. And so they weren't heard. They weren't listened to. They were victimized. Um, Me and my friend Sam were talking about something, and she had put something up, and somebody said, "Oh, you're a professional victim," as if the fact that you've been hurt by an abusive type person, that and because you speak out of it, all of a sudden you're labeled as this professional victim. Okay. Um, People are much more complex than the labels that are given to us by other people, and also that we give other people. At the same time, we need that language to be able to express. And so if the definition is there, then maybe we use it. And abusive type people is kind of a term I use a lot, because an abuser may have some of the qualities of a narcissist. They may be using abusive type tactics. Um, so abuser works. And it's kind of that vague tone that I think people don't quite know what to do with when somebody says, I was abused. They tend to kind of pull away from it, kind of like grief. And I think we have to get better at having language about it, which is why I openly talk about it, is because I think if we can have conversations about what it really is, about the patterns that it really has, about the traits that may be there, then we can have conversations about what's happened to the women that were in the Epstein trial, or men that were victimized by P. Diddy and shamed in different ways. We can have those hard conversations. So I want you to think about that, because that is confusing. Those labels and language can be confusing, and abusers like you confused, because when you're confused, you're more easily controlled, which is why I want you to have some education about it. So you can be like, you don't have to have a degree in psychology in order to be able to combat somebody being abusive, because you can see the tactics that they're using. You can see the traits that they may possess. And the same can be said towards a person that has been victimized. You can see that society hasn't treated the victim well, hasn't believed the victim well. And so, as survivors of these kind of things, we need to talk about it so that people have a better understanding of what it is. So I hope that helps in that confusion of labels and language. It leaves people stuck in situations that they don't have to be in, because they're not just that label. They may be the kind of people that really work hard at trying to understand things so that they can grow from them. And to me, that makes them a warrior. That makes them a person that is pushing against those cages that other people want to put them in. So I hope this helps you. And I guess, in some realms, I may be called a professional victim, because I talk about abuse and I talk about the way that people are, and I'll take that label. It doesn't bother me. Take care.